Question. A motorist should know that a bicyclist operating on a roadway must. Option number 1. Ride on the right side of the road. Option number 2. Ride on the side of the road facing traffic. Option number 3. Ride on either side of the road. Option number 4. Ride on the side of the road with the least traffic. The answer is option number 1. Ride on the right side of the road. Note: bicyclists must ride in a bicycle lane if one is available. If there is no bicycle lane, they must remain near the right curb or right edge of the road, moving in the same direction as traffic in the lane nearest them. Question. When a school bus is stopped off the road without flashing lights, you should. Option number 1. Stop until the bus moves on, regardless of which side of the road you are on. Option number 2. Stop until the bus driver signals for you to go. Option number 3. Stop only if you are on the same side of the road as the bus. Option number 4. Use caution as you pass the bus since you are not required to stop. The answer is option number 4. Use caution as you pass the bus since you are not required to stop. Note: you must stop for a school bus that is stopped with its red lights flashing, whether it is on your side of the road, the opposite side of the road, or at an intersection you are approaching. If a bus is stopped without its lights flashing or its stop arm extended, drivers may pass with caution. Question. You are making a left turn from a two-way street into a one-way street. When you have completed the turn, your car should be. Option number 1. In the right lane of the street. Option number 2. In the center of the street. Option number 3. In the left lane of the street. Option number 4. In the lane with the least traffic. The answer is option number 3. In the left lane of the street. Note: if you are turning left from a two-way street onto a one-way street, you should complete the turn into the lane closest to the lane you have just left. Question. A chemical test is used to measure. Option number 1. Reaction time. Option number 2. Blood alcohol content. Option number 3. Vision. Option number 4. Driving ability. The answer is option number 2. Blood alcohol content. Note: blood alcohol content is normally determined by a chemical test of breath, blood, urine, or saliva. However, a chemical test is not necessary to prove that you were intoxicated or impaired. The testimony of a police officer about how you were driving or your appearance and behavior when arrested can provide enough evidence to convict you even without a chemical test. Question. You are getting on a highway which has a very short entrance lane. The safest way for you to enter the flow of traffic would be to. Option number 1. Use as much ramp as possible to get up to cruising speed. Option number 2. Use the left lane of the highway to get up to cruising speed. Option number 3. Wait for a large gap in traffic, then speed up quickly. Option number 4. Get up to cruising speed gradually so that other cars will see you. The answer is option number 3. Wait for a large gap in traffic, then speed up quickly. Note: if the entrance lane is too short to allow acceleration to expressway speed, the safest way to enter is to stop and wait for a large gap in traffic, then enter the expressway and accelerate quickly. Question. You may never park. Option number 1. On a one-way street. Option number 2. At the entrance of a building. Option number 3. In a crosswalk. Option number 4. Within 50 feet of a fire hydrant. The answer is option number 3. In a crosswalk. Note: it is illegal to park, stop, or stand within a crosswalk. Parking is prohibited within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. Question. A traffic light which has green arrow and a red light means that. Option number 1. You may only drive straight ahead. Option number 2. You may drive only in the direction of the green arrow. Option number 3. You must wait for a solid green light to proceed in any direction. Option number 4. Vehicles moving in any direction must stop. The answer is option number 2. You may drive only in the direction of the green arrow. Note: if a green arrow is shown with a red light, you can only drive in the direction of the arrow and only if the intersection is clear. Question: when you want to make a right turn, your car must be option number 1. Near the center of the street. Option number 2. Close to the left side of the street. Option number 3. Close to the right side of the street. Option number 4. Pass the center of the intersection when you begin to turn. The answer is option number 3. Close to the right side of the street. Note: as you prepare to make a right turn, you should get as far to the right side of the road as possible. Do not cut across lanes of traffic to perform any turn. Question: your car starts to skid on a slippery road. You should option number 1. Brake quickly and keep the wheel straight. Option number 2. Lock your brakes until you come to a full stop. Option number 3. Steer in the direction you want the front wheels to go. Option number 4. Steer toward the side of the road to get off the wet pavement. The answer is option number 3. Steer in the direction you want the front wheels to go. Note: turn the steering wheel in the direction you want the front wheels to go. If your rear wheels are sliding left, steer left. If they are sliding right, steer right. Question: a bicyclist differs from a motorist in that he isn't required to option number 1. Obey the same traffic laws. Option number 2. Signal all turns. Option number 3. Report accidents resulting in serious injury. Option number 4. Insure the bicycle. The answer is option number 4. Insure the bicycle. Note: bicyclists are required to obey the same rules of the road as motor vehicle drivers. Any bicycle crash that causes death or serious injury must be reported to the DMV within 10 days of the incident. Question: you may cross a double solid yellow line. Option number 1. To pass a slow moving truck. Option number 2. To turn into a driveway. Option number 3. To pass another car. Option number 4. Under no conditions. The answer is option number 2. To turn into a driveway. Note: double solid lines indicate that you may not pass or change lanes. You cannot cross the lines unless it is to turn left to enter or exit a highway, to turn into or from a driveway, or to make a U-turn, where permitted. Question: drinking coffee after drinking alcohol. Option number 1. Decreases blood alcohol concentration. Option number 2. Cancels the effect of the alcohol. Option number 3. Has no effect on blood alcohol concentration. Option number 4. Increases blood alcohol concentration. The answer is option number 3. Has no effect on blood alcohol concentration. Note: drinking coffee will not reduce your blood alcohol concentration. While it may help you to stay awake, it cannot change your BAC or make you sober. Question: you have just left an expressway and are starting to drive on an ordinary highway. You should option number 1. Check your speedometer to keep at the low speed limit. Option number 2. Drive in left lane to signal to drivers you came from expressway. Option number 3. Maintain your original speed to keep up the drive momentum. Option number 4. Check your speedometer to keep at the higher speed limit. The answer is option number 1. Check your speedometer to keep at the lower speed limit. Question: a solid white line on the right edge of the highway slants in towards your left. That shows that option number 1. There is an intersection just ahead. Option number 2. You are approaching a construction area. Option number 3. You will be required to turn left just ahead. Option number 4. The road will get narrower. The answer is option number 4. The road will get narrower. Note: a solid line along the side of the road indicates where its edge is, making the boundary between the travel lane and the shoulder. If the edge line angles towards the center of the road, this means that the road is narrower ahead. Question: night driving is dangerous because option number 1. The distance we can see ahead is reduced. Option number 2. You can see as far ahead at night. Option number 3. The road is always more slippery at night. Option number 4. Your reaction time is slower at night. The answer is option number 1. The distance we can see ahead is reduced. Note: with decreased visibility and the glare of oncoming headlights, you cannot see as far ahead at night as you can during the day. Always use headlights and exercise caution when driving in the dark. Question: when you drive at night, you can reduce the problem of glare from headlights of an approaching car by option number 1. Looking to the lower right side of your lane. Option number 2. Having the inside lights on to make the amount of light equal. Option number 3. Looking at the spot on the lower edge of the steering wheel. Option number 4. Wearing glasses with lightly tinted lenses. The answer is option number 1. Looking to the lower right side of your lane. Note: to help avoid the glare of approaching high beams, shift your eyes to the right. Use the road edge as a guide until the approaching vehicle passes by. Question: after you have passed a car, you should return to the right lane when you option number 1. See the front bumper of the other car in your rear view mirror. Option number 2. Have put your turn signal on. Option number 3. Have turned your headlights on. Option number 4. See the other car's headlights turn on. The answer is option number 1. See the front bumper of the other car in a rear view mirror. Note: after passing on the left before you return to the right lane, look at your interior rear view mirror and make sure you can see the front bumper of the passed vehicle. Look over your right shoulder to make sure you can see several feet of pavement between your vehicle and the one you passed. You may then return to the right lane. Question: you want to turn right at the next intersection. You should begin to use the turn signal. Option number 1. At least 50 feet before the turn. Option number 2. When you reach the intersection. Option number 3. At least 100 feet before the turn. Option number 4. As soon as you see cars behind you. The answer is option number 3. At least 100 feet before the turn. Note: the law requires you to signal the turn or lane change with your mechanical turn signals or hand signals at least 100 feet in advance. Question: what does alcohol do to your driving skills and judgment? Option number 1. It helps driving skills but harms your judgment. Option number 2. It harms both driving skills and judgment. Option number 3. It has no effect on either driving skills or judgment. Option number 4. It has no effect on judgment but it harms driving skills. The answer is option number 2. It harms both driving skills and judgment. Note: alcohol negatively affects many skills needed for safe driving, including your reaction time and ability to see clearly. It can also harm your judgment of speed and distance, lower your inhibitions, and make you more prone to taking chances. Question: when you get ready to leave an expressway, you should begin to use your turn signal. Option number 1. Just as you get to the exit ramp. Option number 2. 50 feet before the exit ramp. Option number 3. 100 feet before the exit ramp. Option number 4. when you see cars behind you in the exit lane. The answer is option number 3. 100 feet before the exit ramp. Note: to avoid a last-minute lane change, check destination and exit signs and get into the proper lane for your exit well ahead of the time. Be sure to signal your exit at least 100 feet 30 meters before you reach the exit ramp. Question: what vehicle must stop at all railroad crossings? Option number 1. Pickup trucks and vans. Option number 2. School buses and occupied passenger buses. Option number 3. Motorcycles and bicycles. Option number 4. Vehicles towing a trailer. The answer is option number 2. School buses and occupied passenger buses. Note: school buses with or without passengers, transit buses with passengers on board, and vehicles carrying explosives or flammable cargo must stop at all railroad crossings. Question: a driver who is taking a non-prescription drug should option number 1. Read the labels on the drug before driving. Option number 2. Drink alcohol instead. Option number 3. Continue to drive regardless of any warning labels. Option number 4. Drive only during daylight hours. The answer is option number 1. Read the labels on the drug before driving. Note: many over the counter medications can affect your ability to drive safely. If you take medication, even a remedy for cold or allergies that is not prescribed, check the label for warnings about its effects. If you are unsure, ask your doctor or pharmacist about driving while on medication. Question: if your brake pedal suddenly sinks to the floor, you should first: option number 1. Try to pump it to build up the pressure. Option number 2. Shift into neutral and shut the engine off. Option number 3. Try to raise it by hooking your toe under it. Option number 4. Apply the parking brake hard to stop the car. The answer is option number 1. Try to pump it to build up the pressure. Note: if your brake pedal suddenly sinks to the floor, try pumping it to build up pressure. If that does not help, use your emergency or parking brake, but use it gently. Shifting to a lower gear will also help your vehicle slow down. Question: what does this stop road sign mean? Option number 1. You are approaching a railroad crossing. Option number 2. You must slow down and be ready to stop. Option number 3. Come to a full stop, then go when it is safe to do so. Option number 4. You are near a school. Stop if children are in the crosswalk. The answer is option number 3. Come to a full stop, then go when it is safe to do so. Question: a no parking sign at a certain location means: option number 1. You may never stop your vehicle there. Option number 2. You may stop temporarily only to load or unload passengers. Option number 3. You may park there if the driver remains in the vehicle. Option number 4. You may leave your vehicle unattended for less than 5 minutes. The answer is option number 2. You may stop temporarily only to load or unload passengers. Note: a no parking sign means that you can make a temporary stop to load or discharge merchandise or passengers. Question: what effect does drinking alcohol and taking a prescription drug or over-the-counter medicine have? Option number 1. There will likely be no effect. Option number 2. It will make you more alert. Option number 3. It can make you fit to drive. Option number 4. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol. The answer is option number 4. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol. Note: legal medications, both prescription and over-the-counter, can impair your ability to drive. They can be particularly dangerous when used in combination with alcohol. Question: when driving at night, it is most important for you to: option number 1. Always use your high beams. Option number 2. Look directly at the headlights on an oncoming vehicle. Option number 3. Increase your vehicle speed. Option number 4. Drive within the range of your headlights. The answer is option number 4. Drive within the range of your headlights. Note: driving at night is more hazardous than daytime driving because the lowered visibility makes it difficult to judge speed, distances, and other potential hazards. Increase your following distance to help prevent a potential collision if the vehicle in front of you should stop abruptly. Use your headlights when driving at night, following the rules for proper usage of high beams and lower beams. Question: if an approaching train is near enough or going fast enough to be a danger, you must: option number 1. Slow down and proceed with caution. Option number 2. Not cross the tracks until the train has completely passed. Option number 3. Cross the tracks at your own risk. Option number 4. Find an alternative route across tracks. The answer is option number 2. Not cross the tracks until the train has completely passed. Note: you should look and listen for trains before crossing any railroad tracks. If an approaching train is near enough or going fast enough to be a danger, you cannot go across the tracks. This is true even if they have no signals or the signals are not working. Question: why is driving on an expressway different from driving on an ordinary street? Option number 1. You must think faster and handle your vehicle more effectively. Option number 2. Trucks have to go slower on the expressways. Option number 3. There is more of a tendency to exceed the speed limit. Option number 4. There is more of a tendency to tailgate. The answer is option number 1. You must think faster and handle your vehicle more effectively. Note: expressway driving usually combines high speeds with heavy traffic and you must be alert. The higher speed and traffic volume require you to think faster and vehicle more effectively than in most other driving situations. Question: before you leave a parking space which is parallel to the curb, you should: option number 1. Sound your horn. Option number 2. Turn on your four-way flashers. Option number 3. Look for traffic by turning your head. Option number 4. Look for traffic by using only your inside rear view mirror. The answer is option number 3. Look for traffic by turning your head. Note: before leaving a parking space to pull back into traffic, you should turn your head to look over your shoulder and check through the window for pedestrians, bicyclists, motorcyclists, and other vehicles that can become a hazard.